There's this one lady where I swear I wish you whatever you got coming to you. I really do. You're probably wondering why. Well, once upon a time, I used to work at a sweatshop. Yeah, the ones with the Indians and, them Chinese people used to work at that people be talking about. Yeah, I used to work at one of them. And I feel for those people. I really do. Okay? Work long hours for little money for people to berate you. And every time they got to berate it, I got to, hey, calm it down. Calm it down. You doing too much. You really are. Oh, I used to work at this sweatshop. Okay, this inventory. I gotta do press-ons for the t-shirts with logos. That's what I used to have to do. Right? So one day, inventory, there's all these boxes where you gotta put the inventory that comes in. You gotta separate them by size, color, t-shirt, and sometimes brand, right? So I get going on, putting the inventory away, marking that, what's here, what's missing, yada, yada, yada. I go to put stuff away, and now there's this shelf, but it's at the very bottom, and you got to really pull it out and put the stuff in. And so, let me know what you would do in the situation. When the shelf is at the very bottom, you got to really bend down. A, bend down to get the box. B, go on your hands and knees and use the box. Or C, use the mother effing stool to sit down and put the stuff away. If you chose anything but C, you a loser. You a loser. Why hurt your back? I don't care if you young. Why do that? You're supposed to use the easiest option to get the job done. Correct? That's what I've always learned. But here I go, doing the most logical thing to do, sit on the damn stool to put the stuff away because there was multiple stuff to put away. Tell me why the lady come over here and says, oh, we don't sit down. Excuse me? What? Putting the stuff away, we don't sit down and do that. I looked at her, she looked at me, and we both looking at each other, and she wanted me to get up, clearly, and I wasn't getting up until I was done. And well, what you mean? That I always felt like when it comes to these jobs, and they do, they always say, work easy, not harder. Why would you make me not stand to put the stuff away at the very bottom shelf? Why not sit with the inventory, put the inventory correctly away where the stuff is at? Why are you trying to make other people do these extra steps? Ain't nobody here. There's 10 workers in this mother effer. I wish I nothing but the best. Just because your ass was standing and you decided not to sit and do the most logical thing doesn't mean I was going to listen, because I wasn't.
Hello everyone, this is Emmanuel Cook. We will be reacting to a new video today, so make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe down below, and let's get into the video.
For all you people that work a corporate job or an office job, do you ever feel like you just randomly have beef with someone? Like you just catch a vibe from them that either they don't like you or whatever? Because I just did something for this team at work, and then they responded by thanking everyone else except for me when I was the one who mostly did the work for that. And I was like, okay. And I've caught a vibe from this person since the beginning. They make me feel so incompetent and like I don't do my job, but I definitely do. But yeah, anyways, do you guys ever feel that way?
If you don't start flirting like this in your day-to-day job, you will probably end up broken single. And I don't say this to be mean, I just say this to be real with you. I wish more women knew that they have a huge advantage in the workplace and they don't have to sacrifice their integrity to utilize it. Warm, feminine energy is something that men biologically desire. We all already know that so much about getting what you want is being likable. People also want to interact and do business with those that they like, know, and trust. So you can be cultivating this with your male colleagues, again, without sacrificing your integrity. The thing I'm about to say is 100% professional, but it must be said with genuine warmth and positivity. It's really just about encouraging your male coworkers and clients and customers. I know how these projects go. The higher ups say, okay, who's smart and competent we can give this project to, and it ends up in your lap. I came across this article and I just thought of you and your team. Okay, my question is, how can we make you look amazing in front of your boss? I'm so glad you called. Your ears must have been ringing. I was just thinking about you and your project. That was a great call. It's clear that your team really respects you. So I pulled all this data together, but I wanted to get your professional opinion before I sent it off to the rest of the team. Yeah, can you explain your role in a little bit more detail? It sounds like you've been wearing a ton of hats. And my personal favorite. Wow, you run a tight ship.
Don't nobody try you more than the older women at your job. Miss Pearl, Shirley, I don't care that you 40 plus. If you gonna start some beef with me, be ready to get in the field. Like, what? I don't know. I never understood why what it be that the older women always want to be with the younger girls at the job. Like, do y'all think that we carry ourselves better or we look better? Like, what is it? You mad because my young self is doing what you doing and you 40 plus years old? Like, make it make sense. I don't understand. Like, but no, for real, like, Louise, if you know you're not cut out like that, if you ain't really ready to be for real, or be on that level for real, please stop playing with me. Please, respectfully. Thank you.
A lot of y'all are flirting with your male coworkers at work, and you just need to cut that the fuck out. I know everybody laughs and they think it's cute for people to have little work romances. You know, they may be married, they may have somebody, and it's like, oh, that's my work wife, that's my work husband. But let me tell you how you inviting shit into your life that you better be ready to face. There are a lot of energies that get passed when you're working with people in close vicinities, especially working with people for years and years. And I think there's an escapism that comes with people working with somebody outside of their relationship, of course. And you start feeling like, oh yeah, this could be like a thing, but it's not, especially for women. You know, I find that there are some men in the workplace that prey on women that they know are unhappy. You know, I know you sit down, you have lunch, you guys might go out for lunch or whatever, and, you know, he's talking about his wife and you're talking about your husband or whatever. After a while, you gotta realize that that's mad inappropriate. Like, how would you feel if your spouse was at work talking about you and the problems that you're facing? But people get so comfortable because they have this, oh, we work together, it's a family type of situation. No, it's not. Bro, I worked with these people one time. I was working for a major retailer, I'm not gonna say which one. And 2 or 3 people at this retailer actually were married and got divorced and got with the people that they work with. And it all started off so innocently, you know, oh, we're just going to lunch, and we worked in the mall. So, and this is like a high-end luxury store, right? So, you know, we're kind of like the big shit in the mall. So people are like, oh, you know, I'm gonna go to lunch, we're gonna do whatever. And I started noticing, I'm like, I ain't in people's business, but I'm like, there's clearly like this emotional attachment. There's like this enabling. There's like this let me lean on your shoulder type vibe. And I was just wondering, like, how is this about to play out? So one time, one of the guys' wives came to the job. It was a day when there wasn't a lot of people working. I was working upstairs, and she came to me, and I don't know, like, I'm just one of those people that people just kind of come to me. And she came to me and she was like, hey, do you know if my husband is here today? And I was like, oh, you know, who's your husband? And she told me his name, and I was like, oh. Now tell me why 20 minutes before that I had just seen him and his work wife going out to lunch. So, you know me, it ain't my business. I was like, honestly, I'm not sure. I said, but maybe you could go down to the office and, you know, HR, and talk to someone and they can get in touch with him for you. And you know what this lady looked at me and said? She like picked up her purse and she was like, I know exactly where he is. I said, okay. Well, can I offer you something to drink, a water, a beverage? Like, bitch, what do you want me to say? And she was like, no. She said, I just want you to know that I know where he is. And I hope that you never have a man play with you like I know my husband is playing with me. Honey, when I tell you, I was shook. Shaken up for the rest of the day. I was like, oh my God, bro. The look of hurt and pain in this woman's eyes, I just could not understand it. I was like, not grasping what was happening. And I was just like, yo, what is going on? Like, y'all be just way too comfortable. Like, look, this is also somebody that you work with. So you don't know what they're telling your management. You also might be in management. You might be in the C-suite. You don't know what these people are saying about you when you're not there. I think, very classic scenario. So one time I was working at this agency and there was this white guy that used to flirt with me all the time. So we went out on a few dates, whatever. Tell me why one day I was like, we used to hang out all the time. We go to concerts together. And people used to at work were like, oh my God, you know, these people, whatever. Tell me why we come back to his apartment from the bar one night and he was like really shit-faced drunk. And I was like, okay, well, I'm just gonna go and, you know, sit down and chill, call my Uber. And he was like, okay, we'll use my phone. Well, in the phone, when I was like going to the Uber app, his phone pinged and it was one of the guys we work with at the job. And tell me why the guy was like, oh, are you done hanging out with her yet? How much longer do you have to do this? And I was like, what? So I opened the message, and they are plotting about how to basically sabotage me at that job because I was like #1 in sales 6 months consistently. And this was like a big agency, like in our downtown area, huge agency. So I'm like clocking like crazy sales. I'm making like thousands in commission checks. You see what I'm saying? They was trying to get my ass up out of there. Yo, when I tell you, I went off because, baby, you can play with whatever you want to, but once you play with my money, it's a motherfucking wrap. So I was like, I ain't say nothing at first. I waited. And finally, we were going to have this Christmas party. And so the day before the Christmas party, I went to him because Christmas is like a big time. Like if the sales weren't up at a certain capacity, you could get let go. So I was like, oh, I'm about to fuck his Christmas all up. I went up to him and I said, I know exactly what you were doing. I said, but the difference between me and you is that if I was going to do some dirt, I damn sure wasn't going to get caught. I said, you may think you threw me off my game, but baby, I'm coming for you. And when I tell you, he literally like did everything he could to smooth it over. I mean, this man was sending me flowers at work. He was like, he would come up to my desk, like I'd be on the phone. He'd be like, can I talk to you for a minute? Do you know that his sales, I didn't do nothing, didn't get revenge, but karma's a real thing. His sales went in the shitter. He was like, it was awful. I think they put him on a performance review plan. Like it was bad. Meanwhile, I'm back up on top. Never left. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just sharing that to share with you guys. Like, you don't know. This is a workplace. You don't know what this guy is saying. You don't know what this girl is saying. You just can't be out here sharing personal details or actually getting so close to touch to somebody that you work with, because that shit can ruin your life. It was one of the biggest lessons I ever learned. And I learned more lessons just being in the corporate workplace, but it scared me how much these guys were plotting. I mean, they were even plotting to like buy me lunch from restaurants that were kind of sketchy, hoping that I would get food poisoning and not be able to come to work. I was getting my tires. Somebody kept slashing my tires and I was like, what's going on with my tires? I still don't know to this day who it was, but I'm telling you, like, I was making a lot of money, and being a black woman in a corporate environment that is primarily like Caucasian people, bro, I had all those people shook in there and I was scared. Because I was like, yo, like, I'm just trying to pay my bills. What the hell y'all got going on? Anyway, case in point, just be careful. When you at, you know, and I know how it is, you know, the vibes, the riz, you know what I mean? Like everybody vibing, whatever. Y'all going to little happy hours, what have you. Okay, cool. Keep these people on a need-to-know basis. And also, if you got somebody that loves you at home, that's holding you down, that's making sure that you're taken care of, don't step outside of your relationship for somebody that you work with. Because, honey, the flip side of that is, what if you do it and you hate the person, and now the person you actually loved is gone and has moved on? It's just not worth it.
Guys, don't date the person that you work with. It's usually a horrible idea. At times it may work, but a lot of the times it's a terrible idea. If you have a good person at home, do not risk it. Don't risk your relationship. Have the respect and the boundaries needed to maintain that relationship that you are in. A lot of those people at your job who flirt with you, they have literally nothing to lose. You have something to lose. And so it's really not worth it. A quick reminder, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe down below. And let's continue the video.
I'm about to put y'all on right fast. Y'all ever been at work or school and you notice that there was this group of girls that don't like you, or there's just one girl who is just always mugging you, you realize she just don't like you, and you're just like, I ain't never did nothing to her. But instead of asking, you just like, okay, if somebody doesn't like me, it's a them problem, especially because I know I ain't did nothing to them. So I'm gonna just leave it at that. She's just gonna have to be mad. I'm big on you just gonna have to be mad, because that don't have nothing to do with me. When people don't like you and they can't figure you out, they go and try to search your social media. Facebook mainly, honestly, or TikTok. And since them not liking you is such a big deal, the beef is really one-sided. Okay, they feel like since they're thinking about you all the time, you on the same time, you're thinking about them all the time. Since they had such a bad day since you was at work, they feel like you experienced the same day. When really you just like, oh my goodness, this girl don't like me. Let me just ignore her. Put your earpods in. You go about your day, right? They search your social media to see if you are talking about them. Because wait, we are beefing. Why aren't you talking about me on your social media? Why are you posting about horses giving birth and not about me? They want to see you talk about, oh my goodness, I couldn't wait to get off work. This girl was aggy at work. Oh my goodness, some people at work need to watch out because I'm going to have to show them who I am. Like, they're looking for something like that. They're looking for something like that so they can say, and this is the biggest lie, somebody, and I'm not going to say their name, screenshotted me. Somebody sent me a photo of your Facebook profile. I don't even have a Facebook. And they showed me that you was talking about me. And I'm trying to figure out what the problem is. I always knew that you had a problem with me. But I can't, y'all. This is how they act. They want to beef with you so bad. They want conflict. They want chaos. They want drama. Y'all, this is why I say don't even post about nobody. Don't post about nobody. Post about, orcas beaching themselves on the beach. Stuff like that. Some people don't like it that you not bringing work home with you. You not gossiping on the internet. You not making storytime videos about them. You posting about animals giving birth. Girl. On top of that, now they think you weird. You weird and you're not interacting with them. You're not taking the bait. Am I alive right now? You're going to notice they're going to start trying you more and more to try and get you to post about them on the internet. Like, it's so strange, y'all. They need something. But I say proudly to ignore everybody because people are going to start seeing that person for who they are. They're going to keep talking about you and keep talking about you. And the people around them, they're just going to be like, dang, what happened now? Did she say something to you today? And she gonna be like, no, I just don't like her. What's your problem? Girl, you was always talking about her. It's getting old. It's been 6 months now. This girl's not saying nothing to you. She's not posting about you. We tired of hearing about her. They friends are gonna realize that you are gray rocking them because they had to gray rock their ex. Like, they gonna realize their friend is the problem. You don't have to do nothing, literally. Especially when you walk with the Lord. Listen, you really don't have to do nothing. Nothing at all.
So I'm in this dilemma. I'm not sure if someone is flirting with me or not. And I don't know because I feel like we've always talked, like we've always been friendly. And we don't follow each other on social media. But I found out that he is in one of my church groups. And I've never seen him at the church group. It's always like he goes whenever I don't go, and then the times that I go, like he's not there. So we've never like seen each other like there. But we work together, right? Well, so one time I had seen that he had messaged in our little group meet, because we have a group meet with the church group, and I was like, that's him. And so I had said something to him at work, and I was like, I didn't know you go to that church. And he was like, oh yeah. He was like, do you go? I was like, yeah. I was like, because we're in the same group chat or whatever. And he was like, oh, okay. And then so like now like we have something that we bonded over, right? Well, lately we'll like tell each other like, oh, did you go to church? Like, did you go to church? And I feel like I don't know, I feel like is he trying to say like, oh, we should go together, or am I overthinking it? I don't know. But my church had an event last week, and he was like you should go. He's like, because you get off for whatever time, so you'll make it. I was like, yeah. I was like, I should go. I was like, but I have all these things I need to do. And he was like, yeah. He's like, well, he's like, I think you should. And I was like, thanks. And then later on was that he had messaged me on GroupMe, and he was like, hey, he was like, how did that thing go? Did you end up going? And he had never like messaged me like before like that. So I don't know if it's like, because he could have just waited until he saw me at work, right? So I don't know if like him messaging me is like his way of kind of flirting. I don't know. Or maybe not. Maybe I'm overthinking it. and he doesn't like me at all. He probably has a girlfriend. He could have a girlfriend, and I probably wouldn't even know. But yeah, that's my gossip of the day.
Any type of workplace beef is so funny because the level of pettiness that people have is actually insane. And I had beef with this one girl who used to open and I used to close. And as you know, openers and closers typically have beef. And it was with this girl who just never liked me for some reason, right? And so on this day, we both were working. She opened and I closed. And we saw each other for probably like 5 or 10 minutes because when I came in for my shift, she was telling me how like something had broken, right? And I was like, okay, that's fine. So she leaves and she knows that I am closed. So I close, I finish my shift, and tell me why the next morning I wake up to a text in our work group chat from that same girl, and she started off with, hey, whoever closed last night, and then went on to complain about how the person who closed did a bad job of it. And I was like, you bitch, first of all, you knew I closed, so why couldn't you just text me that? But second of all, I close like this every single time, and you've never had an issue with it until now. And so I'm a petty person, and so fun fact, that girl is like 5'1", 5'2". She's really short, right? So the next time that I closed and she opened, I made sure to put shit so high up on the shelves, I knew she couldn't even reach it if she got a chair. Like, I put shit so high up, I was literally on my tippy toes on a chair just to put it up so she couldn't get it. And I'm pretty sure she did get the memo because she did text me the next morning and sent me a picture of all the stuff on the shelf, and she was like, hey, did you put this there because I can't reach it? And all I responded with was, yes, I did. And that was it.
Man, he is so petty, honestly. Come on now. But at times, you have to teach people a good lesson that they will never forget. And this is probably his way of teaching her a great lesson. Don't play with me. Do not mess with me. Yeah.
I've talked about this a few times on my page, but I thought I'd make a full-on video about it. So you guys probably know I hired a career coach, and yesterday in our session, we literally talked for over 30 minutes about setting boundaries with coworkers. The reason why I brought this topic up is because I watched a lot of videos about this program that I'm potentially about to start in Dallas, and it talked about how a lot of the people in the program did not take it seriously. They were going to happy hours, they were dating each other, they had intimate relationships. And I have no hate towards sororities or fraternities, but the majority of these people were used to having party culture involved with their close friends and people that they're working with. I brought this up to my coach and I was like, do you think it's fine to go with a coworker to a happy hour or something like that after work? She told me that unless it's a work event where you guys are having 1 to 2 drinks, don't have over that, hosting an event for a client or something related to that or a celebration. She told me do not stay past 9 or 10 p.m. That's when things get kind of crazy. If people are drinking, you could get hit on by someone you work with, hit on by your boss. That's just crossing the line. You don't want to be caught in a situation where there's a power dynamic and somebody is hitting on you, and if you don't, succumb to what they want you to do with them, they may say, oh, we're gonna fire you. You're not gonna have a job anymore. Especially if you're a hot girl working in a male-dominated industry. And I've never had experience with this because I personally don't really work with men. I haven't really ever because I went to fashion school. I attended a really small private school, so there were honestly more girls in the grade than guys. So I just don't have a lot of experience working with men in power. So I am very nervous about this aspect of starting a corporate job. Also, I tend to be very awkward when it comes to men. It either is like one end of the spectrum or another where I'm going full in and just basically she told me to play dumb. If anyone texts me outside of work and just says something that's flirtatious, literally play dumb, act like you have no idea they're meant to send the message to someone else, because you do not want to jeopardize yourself in a company. I literally just watched the podcast with Monica Lewinsky from Call Her Daddy, and I was like horrified. Just the amount of like power dynamics with Bill Clinton, it's awful. Also the fact that he was publicly shaming her and the media just spun it all around on her, and it's horrible. It's still following her today, and it's been like over 20 years. And keep in mind, this was an intern versus the president of the United States. If you take anything away from this video, do not go drink with your coworkers unless it's for an event, and don't have over 2 drinks. I am being blunt as somebody who just really loves going out and having a good time, but there's a time and place for that. Go on Bumble BFF, go on Bumble, meet people outside of it, go on Facebook, go on Instagram, connect with other friends from your past. Just don't do it with coworkers, because at the end of the day, there is a aspect of it where you are trying to perform and be a top performer. So that competitive aspect too also comes into play.
Ooh, my coworker was pissed, girl. If you are being taken care of by a healthcare worker that is complaining about their day or complaining about their job, would you feel comfortable? Hell no. That's exactly what I told my coworker, and he was pissed. I understand that we as healthcare workers, we have a lot of frustrations. There's a lot of things we want to complain about, and we should absolutely be able to vent. But baby, you have a manager for that. You have a supervisor for that. Go find a coworker that likes you. Not me, somebody else to go vent to. I remember I pulled them to the side and I was like, listen, you shouldn't do that because now you're not making the patient feel like a priority. Now you're making them feel like a nuisance. And these patients, Miss Mama, Miss Thing, they pay our bills. And there was a moment where like his eyes opened up and he realized like, oh shit, I should not have done that. But he was too prideful. So instead of accepting the mistake that he had made and keeping it moving, he just did a 180 turn and walked away. Which, baby, none of my business. All I know that for me is when I'm taking care of my patients, no matter how bad of a day I'm having, I'm not there to turn my patient into a therapist. I'm there to make my patient feel seen, make them feel heard, give them the best version of myself. And if I need to go to the bathroom to go yell it out afterwards, then that's what I'll do. But not in front of the patient.
Everyone says don't date your coworker, right? Don't date your coworkers, don't blank or you blank. I honestly hate that term, so I don't really like to say it. I just think it's gross. So I've only had 3 boyfriends in my life, and all of them have been my coworkers. Yep. Not on purpose, by the way, I'm not doing this on purpose, but it has become a personality trait at this point. Because in my defense, these are jobs that I find temporary. I don't see myself there long term, so it's okay, right? And where else are you supposed to meet people? We spend majority of our lives at work, talking to our coworkers all day, every day. So, I mean, hello, like it's only natural. It's only natural. As long as everybody's single and there's no messiness going around, I really don't see the problem. Or like you guys are peers, like you guys kind of have to be peers. It's kind of difficult when like you're fucking around with someone above you or below you, like that can get messy. So I wouldn't support that, but there's really nothing wrong with it. I date my coworkers and proud.
One thing I cannot stand is when someone tries to embarrass their own coworkers at work. I just make an appointment at this place and we're standing there and the lady goes, do you need help with something? No, I just walked into your establishment for no reason. She goes, well, blank can help you over there. And then the other coworker goes, yep, she's free. She can help you. She sure can. I did not like that. And the girl looked at them like, why are you bullying your own coworker? No, she did. She looked over like, oh my God. My heart started like, it sunk. My anxiety filled from my old job.
That's you were that girl.
I was that girl. I felt so bad for her. I kept looking at the other girl. She was so nasty in the face, typing like this. Right? She looked like that. She said, oh, with her bob. Oh, I can't stand people like that.
I appreciate you guys watching the video today. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.